Hello, and welcome to Concordia On Air. I'm Jackson, and tonight,
In news, an updated mask policy.
And in sport, Brittany Griner in Russia.
And on arts and entertainment, Dua Lipa is levitating straight to jail.
all that and more on Concordia On Air.
I'm Parker.
And I'm Vengeance.
That was scary, and I was not expecting that. What was that little silly thing from?
It was a reference to the hit film The Batman, starring Edward Cullen.
The Batman?
Yes.
With a vampire?
Yes,
Oh my, he's played two bats.
Edward Cullen has literally turned from vampire to bat.
Can we talk about the real star of that movie, though? Zoe Kravitz? I mean, come on. If there was one person that would make literal Parker think, it'd be Zoe Kravitz.
It would be
I'm not going to
Zoe
elaborate on that
Kravitz.
anymore.
Yeah,
So, you saw The Batman.
I did.
What are your thoughts and impressions? I'm seeing it all over TikTok. People are loving it.
Well, Pattinson is certainly, for my money, the best Batman. He
Okay.
has done to Batman what Christopher Reeve did to Superman, and has brought something original while
Elevated.
also elevating it
Escalated.
to a cinematic level that is above what any comic book movie should be, while also being a comic book movie. It's proud of being about superheroes, but at the same time, it's like we can be more than jokes.
Superheroes. We
Yeah.
can be superheroes.
Exactly.
Well, you see a lot of movies.
I do.
Any good ones recently?
Well, the Batman.
Well, The Batman.
Studio 666, starring Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters.
Okay, so I love this whole genre of just making a comedy out of a horror movie. Scream was like maybe the OG. There's probably stuff before Scream, but Scream was the first one that I remember, where I remember laughing at it and being like, "This is like a weird, like kind of mix up." Do you have any other scary horror movies that are also funny to recommend? It's a very niche genre.
Funny horror movies. Well, The Evil Dead, directed by Sam Raimi, the entire trilogy. The first one's not really funny. It's funny on a different level than the other two are, but they're all kind of funny because, fun fact about those movies is the director grew up watching The Three Stooges and wanted to make Three Stooges movies. But
Okay.
you can't get money in Hollywood when you're like, I want to make Three Stooges 6. So he's like, I want to make a movie about some friends that fight demons, but also it's a Three Stooges movie.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I really need to watch more movies. One of my big goals this year is to possibly make a list of some movies that I want to watch, but nothing has come to fruition at all.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jackson, what do we have next?
Well, one of your big goals should be to watch the news next.
Welcome to news. I'm Paul.
And I am Glory.
The International Student Organization is hosting the first gala event this Saturday, the 12th. The event, which will take place in the Centrum, will see students across the divide scoop awards. The event will oversee the awarding of students who have shown engagement in the Concordia community to make the environment a welcoming space for all cultures. The awards categories include Best Personality, Best Friends, Best Couple, Most Outgoing, among others. The awardees will be selected via a survey, and the person or category with the most nominations in each category wins. With the theme Dress to Impress, the gala will start at 6 p.m. with entertainment, red carpet, photo sessions, and the awards, expected to be the major sessions.
After nearly 2 years, some local institutions are ending face mask requirements on their campuses. North Dakota State University, Minnesota State University, Moorhead, and our home Concordia College all announced the ending of mask mandates on campus as COVID rates drop. Effective on Friday, March 11th, Cobbers will no longer be required to wear masks in any settings unless requested by staff or faculty in classrooms and meeting spaces. After the two surges of Delta and Omicron variants, it came across into questions if the college is ending the mandate too soon, while lifting restrictions like these may come as a welcome sign of life returning to something like normal. Public health experts emphasize the energy every family, community, and school is likely dealing with different COVID-19 dynamics. As Concordia shifts to making these decisions more individually, it's important to know your own risk factors and to keep others' risk in mind as well.
Russian forces laying siege to Mariupol have cut all communications there, making it increasingly difficult to get first-hand information about the state of a city where hundreds of thousands of people are struggling to find food, water, and medicine. Satellite imagery from the city shows significant damage to some buildings, with shopping centers and homes destroyed. Doctors Without Borders was able to reach a member of their staff in the city on Tuesday who shared a recording of his report, laying out people's efforts to survive as explosions continue to rock the city. The doctor alleged that the situation is so bad that some are collecting snow melt from their roofs and finding wood for cooking.
Now in South Korea election, a graft prosecutor turned opposition leader has won an extremely close presidential election in South Korea, reinstating conversations to power with calls for a more confrontational state against North Korea and a stronger alliance with the United States. It was South Korea's tightest race since it began hiding free presidential election in 1987. Mr. Yoon will replace President Moon Jae-in, progressive leader whose single 5-year term ends in May. The election was widely seen as a referendum of Mr. Moon's government, its failure to curb skyrocketing housing prices, engaged voters, sordid Me Too, and corrupting scandals involving Mr. Moon's political allies, as well as lack of progress in rolling back North Korea's nuclear weapons program.
The Florida Senate passed House Bill 1557 this Tuesday. This controversial bill has been dubbed by its critics as the Don't Say Gay bill, in reference to the bill's approach to LGBT issues. In addition to providing parents with access to information about their child's education, the bill's content involves restricting education about sexuality and gender expression within public schools. If passed by Governor DeSantis, the bill would prevent access to LGBT topics to students from kindergarten to the 3rd grade, as well as in a manner that is not age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. Governor DeSantis has shown support for the bill and is expected to sign it into law.
Now in endurance, the wreck of Endurance has been found in the Antarctic. 906 years after the historic ship was crushed, it packed ice and sank during an expedition by the explorer Ernest Shackleton. A team of adventurers, marine, archaeologists, and technicians located the wreck at the bottom of the Weddell Sea, east of the Antarctic Peninsula. Using undersea drones, battling sea ice and freezing temperatures, the team had been searching for more than 2 weeks in a 150 square miles area around where the ship went down in 1915. Endurance, a 3-masted wooden ship, holds a revered place in polar history because it spawned one of the greatest survival stories in the annual of exploration. Its location, nearly 10,000 feet down in waters that are among the iciest on Earth, placed it among the most celebrated shipwrecks that had not been found. That's all for news today, and now to an interview with Paul and Parker.
Hello again. We have our very own Paul Sternhagen in the studio with us today. We just came back from spring break, Cobbers. While I was on spring break, I did a little bit more of some self-pleasure travel. I went to Duluth, I went to Winnipeg. But Paul, he had this wild idea. He decided to help people, which is so much cooler than what I did. Paul, can you tell us a little bit just initially about what you did over your spring break?
Sure. I was involved with the Habitat for Humanity trip down to West Virginia, Marlinton, West Virginia, which was a really great opportunity. I have to shout out, couldn't have done it without a scholarship. So keep your eyes peeled for those because they do happen. And that scholarship had only been filled out by like 2 or 3 other people. So they try to hide them from you.
They do try to hide them from you. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that you were able to go. My next question, less fun, but I do need to know, how many times did you sing Country Roads by John Denver on that trip?
Ears were bleeding by the end of it.
Seriously? Well, Country Roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, where
Yes.
you were. So tell us a little bit about the process. So you go to West Virginia. What do you do while you're there?
Sure. So we were mainly focusing on building a wheelchair ramp. There was this lady, she and her brothers lived in this same household, and she had been hit with a bout of COVID. She had been vaccinated, but it still came, and she had been in the hospital just for a month. And after that, she was super weak, and she had developed COPD, and she just couldn't do the stairs anymore. So we had 2 really helpful guys. We had David and Eric. They were our foremen, and they really spearheaded this project. They laid out the blueprints. They told everybody what to do. And whenever there was a mistake, they'd be very patient.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. And while I cannot speak for the entire Cover community, I know myself I'm not incredibly inclined to be building structures. Can you explain a little bit more? So how were you instructed to build a wheelchair ramp, essentially?
Sure. David and Eric, like I said, they were definitely the leaders there. They took a lot of those roles. They taught us how to use a chop saw, use drills for the people who hadn't been acquainted with that, which a couple people already had. But I think probably the worst tool, or the most terrifying to use, was the Sawzall, because these were concrete steps. We needed a section cut out. So I was holding it and pretty much just shaking back.
Oh my goodness. So
full big
you
upper
literally
arm
cut
workout.
concrete.
We cut concrete.
Wow, I could not imagine that for myself, honestly. Okay, so my last question for you, how did you get involved with Habitat for Humanity?
I was actually doing a story for a news writing course. And I was looking at their Instagram, trying to find some people who I might interview. And instead, I found this small little post where it's like, here's a scholarship for our upcoming spring break trips. And it had been liked, like I said, by 2 or 3 other people.
And are you planning to do the trip again? Or do a similar trip like that again?
I might. This was involved with a peak. This was a peak class too, so that was definitely a contributing factor.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, Paul. Now we have sports with Glory and Paul.
Oh, hi and welcome to news. Now we're talking about Brittany Griner in Russia. Brittany Griner, the star basketball player detained in Russia over alleged drug charges, has become the latest of several Americans who have yet to secure their freedom from a country increasingly isolated from the rest of the world. Russia's invasion to Ukraine brought forth global condemnation from governments and peoples alike, who have since boycotted Russian goods, frozen Russian access to banking systems, and enacted crippling sanctions. And amid the growing economic repercussions, families and supporters of Griner and other detained Americans like Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan are working to free their loved ones as diplomatic channels fade.
For the 6th straight week, Concordia remains locked in the top 25 in the US TFCCCA Division III National Track and Field Rating Index rankings. The Cobbers moved up 2 spots from a week ago and are now ranked 14th in the nation. Cobbers are currently in the top-ranked team in the MIAC as they get set to compete in the NCAA Division III National Indoor Meet this weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Cobbers have also spent 5 straight weeks ranked in the top 16 of the country. Recently, Cobbers finished second at the MIAC Indoor Championship meet, where they posted a school record of 139 points. It marked the second straight indoor conference meet that Concordia has placed second.
Paralympics in Ukraine. On a bittersweet day of Ukraine, the country has won 6 gold medals at the Paralympics Winter Games, just as one athlete learned her father had been taken prisoner by Russian troops. Despite grappling with heartbreak following Russia's invasion of their homeland, the team is in yellow and blue dug deep to net 2 gold, 4 silver, and 3 bronze medals on Tuesday on day 4 of the Games being held in Beijing.
Concordia finished their MIAC season by having 5 players earn conference postseason awards as selected by the league coaches. Tyler Boser, Cole O'Connell, and Alex Stoley were all named to the MIAC All-Conference team. Jarrett Lawley received All-Conference Honorable Mention honors, and Isaac Heckenmeyer-Howe was placed on the MIAC All-Rookie team. Senior defenseman Shane Bernhardson was chosen by the Concordia coaching staff as the team's representative on the All-MIAC Sportsmanship team. And now, an interview with Professor Greg Carlson.
Welcome back for our second interview of the day. My name is Elise, and I'm here with Greg. Greg, can you tell us a little bit about your title here at Concordia?
Well, at Concordia College, I'm a professor in the Communication Studies and Theater Art Department, and I am also the Director of Multimedia Journalism and the Film Studies minor.
And you're in charge of all this over here at Concordia On Air, our director, and someone who's really important behind the cameras here.
It's an enjoyable part of what I get to do. I love it. And it's so fun to be interviewed by you on camera. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while.
Mm-hmm. I'm also usually behind the camera, so
right.
this is kind of different for me. All right, so can you tell us what you're talking to us about here today?
Well, the 22nd Annual Fargo Film Festival starts on Tuesday, March 15th and goes through Saturday, March 19th. And there's lots of events that Cobbers might be interested in attending.
Wow, all right. So can you tell us a little bit more about what are some of the films that they like to show? Like what type of genre? Like who makes these films?
Right, yeah. Well, it's like many film festivals, we're a showcase for independently made movies, some of which do go on to receive distribution or have sales for theatrical releases as well as streaming. But a great reason to go to a film festival is to see lots of stuff you wouldn't get to see anywhere else. So shorts in categories like animation and experimental film and documentary and narrative fiction, and we have a student category, and there's something kind of all genres are represented.
That's awesome. How many students are entering this year from Concordia, at least?
So in terms of the student category is always a really popular category because the training for students who want to go in to become professional filmmakers leads them to colleges from coast to coast and even around the world. In fact, one of the student films that's playing in the festival this year is an Oscar-nominated work, is up for an Oscar, currently up for an Oscar. It's called The Dress, and it's absolutely fantastic. And it's like you see this and you can't believe that it was made by a student, so that's one I would highly recommend people check out if they have the chance. I think we have 3 or 4 Oscar-nominated works playing this year.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. What are some other highlights that you would point out about the film festival? Like, what's your favorite part?
Sure. Well, my favorite part is probably the 2-minute movie contest. So every year we show about an hour's worth of very, very short movies, back to back to back to back. And this year there will be 37 movies squeezed into just under an hour. The shortest one is from Japan. I think it's called Following, and it's 15 seconds long, but it's still really entertaining. And so that happens on Friday night at 9:30 p.m. at the Fargo Theater, all events at the Fargo Theater, and it's only $2 admission, so it's a good event for Cobbers to check out.
Wow, that really sounds like a great opportunity. Well, thank you again for coming and being interviewed with us today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, now we're on to A&E.
Hello, 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 Cobbers. Before we get into our segment today, Jackson, I don't know, I can't speak today. yesterday, everyone, there was a very cool international holiday that was finally recognized by the United States last year, International Women's Day. And I just want to give a shout out to all the amazing women that we have on air. Our tech crew, by the way, including Wade, is an all-women crew, which is amazing. We have Elise and we have Megan, which is fantastic. And then, of course, we have Glory over on news and sports, and we love them also dearly. Literally, our show would not be able to operate without women. So I would like to give a huge shout out and so much love to those three because we love them dearly.
We do.
Do you love them dearly?
Yes.
We love them dearly. Okay, now another woman that we need to talk about today, but not completely positively. Sorry, women everywhere. We need to talk about Dua Lipa. Jackson, why can't I say my exes today? Jackson, tell us about Dua Lipa.
So, Dua Lipa has currently found herself amidst a controversy after her song Levitating has come under fire recently by the band, the reggae band, Article Sound System. Also, they fully embrace this abbreviation, ASS. I don't have to tell you what that spells.
I would say it, but that's a territory I won't go into.
But they had a moderately popular song that hit the reggae charts just a year before Levitating became what Levitating is, this cultural, like...
Pop club
yes,
anthem.
Absolutely one of the most, like, listened to songs in recent memory. So, a year before Levitating was released, Article Sound System released a song, which is called Moonlight, I believe.
Moonlight?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So, they have recently sued Dua Lipa over copyright claims. They are accusing her of plagiarism. It's a whole nasty case.
Before we really get into the nitty-gritty, everyone, so their name is Moonlight, and in the song she goes, Moonlight, Starlight, something, I'm levitating. Okay, I'm enthralled. Teach us more.
So, due to some experts, apparently TikTok believes that I am a Dua Lipa stan.
I've always thought
that
about you.
I may be. But TikTok has found me.
Good.
And they have sent me a lot of videos. And there is an actual expert I have found on TikTok who is being interviewed by Rolling Stone on this matter. He argues that it's actually interpolation. And what interpolation is
word of the day, everyone.
Interpolation.
Interpolation.
Yes.
Okay.
So in terms of music making, interpolation is when you may, whether intentionally or unintentionally, sample a tune or certain song structure to a song.
Plagiarism of the music world.
Yes.
Maybe, kind of.
It's kind of a legal plagiarism.
Okay.
It's meant to be like legal, like willful interpolation would be, oh, hey, Dua Lipa, this is Dua Lipa speaking, I really like this song. I kind of like how it sounds. I'm going to use it for my new song, Levitating, that I'm currently
Dua Lipa,
writing.
I'm such a big fan of your work. I love you.
I love you too, Parker.
Oh my God, it's like Santa Claus.
Yep. But so what that typically means is they just the artist took the work and kind of sampled it. It's not the same work. Now there is like subconscious interpolation, which is you heard this song maybe getting your hair cut or just
in
driving.
Your dreams. Yep.
Yeah, you heard it like maybe it was in your dream playlist. Yeah. You heard it, and then when you're writing Levitating, you accidentally incorporate it.
Oh, I got a new funky beat in my head.
Exactly.
No, it wasn't your beat. Okay.
So that's where Article Sound System, or ASS, their case comes into play. Both beats, we can't play them because they're both copyrighted songs, and we'll get demonetized and stricken down from YouTube.
Monetized? Do y'all think that we make money from this
but
show?
We'll get stricken down from YouTube either way.
Yeah, we make millions a year, trust me.
There is a third song by the 90s band Outkast. Called Rosa Parks.
Did you say Outkast?
I did say Outkast. Look at
Outkast.
So these two wonderful fellas made a song called Rosa Parks in 1997, which is our third entry into this race of similar songs to Levitating and Moonlight. they all have the same beat structure. What does this mean? Well, if Article Sound System's case is successful, well, that means Outkast can sue both of them for both of their profits. And then Outkast gets all the money. But seeing as the world of music constantly has lots of people that are like, I really like this song, but I want to use it with my lyrics, and they don't give that other artist credit, there's a lot of stuff that happens like this. So unfortunately for this lesser-known band, Article Sound System, it'll probably not get anywhere, and the only positive outcome for them will probably just be more clicks for their previous song, Moonlight.
I mean, yeah, I suppose any business or any kind of publicity in the news like this, they are definitely going to profit off it either way. Interesting. And I know Olivia Rodrigo last year had that controversy with Paramore and Britney Spears and even Taylor Swift that she had borrowed elements of their songs, but both Paramore and Taylor Swift came out and said, that's okay. This is what the industry's about. It's about sharing. So
the answer is no more catchy songs. Can't get stuck in the songwriter's head.
Has to be completely original.
Yep.
Anyways, thank you everyone for joining us today on Concordia on Air. I'm Parker.
And I'm Jackson.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.